What's going on, everybody? My name is Dominic, and I'm joined by Nick, and we are the TCG Buds doing our episode 6 of the Buds Watch. And Buds Watch is basically just we take a look at everything One Piece TCG, but more of an emphasis on the collectability side of things. So we have a big agenda today. We're talking about the road ahead, which is a little bit complicated. So if you don't know the road ahead, we are getting to worldwide release. So it's a little complicated, more complicated than usual. So we'll be going over that and the collectability of all these sets that are upcoming and how things look like as we head to that worldwide release. And then we're talking about some notable market watch updates, just some things that we saw that made us go like, oh wow, that's pretty crazy. So we're going to be talking about that as well. But before we get started, we are having a 2,000 subscriber giveaway for that Volume 3 and Volume 4 illustration box at 2,000 subscribers. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe, as well as be a U.S. resident.
He did it!
I did it. I said it for
Finally.
once. All right, guys. So first things first, we're talking about the road ahead. Like I said, we're heading to worldwide release, so it's a little bit more complicated than usual. I'll go over kind of just the road simply really quick, and then we can go into step by step what it looks like and everything like that. So first things first, in January, we're going to have OP14 plus EBO4. In February, we're going to have EBO3, and I know you're thinking, EBO3 after EBO4, we'll get into it. It's a little complicated, like I said. And then in April, we're going to have OP15, and that's when we're going to officially hit that worldwide release day, so it comes out everywhere around the world for OP15. So, EBO3, actually, let's start from the beginning. OP14 plus EBO4. So it's OP14, and it's going to have green, blue, and purple cards from EBO4. And it's going to release in January, so we're getting it before Japan. And this is just their way of adding half of a set into the English version so we can catch up for April. So anyways, OP14 plus EBO4, we do know some things about OP14 already. So we know the different leaders. So OP14 it's themed around the warlords of the sea, so it has like Mihawk, Boa Hancock, it has Doflamingo, it has all these other leaders. We'll talk about the meta here in a little bit, but what are your first impressions of OP14? Any standout cards? What do you think about it? Going to be a good one, bad one, good for collectability? What are you thinking?
I think this is going to be a textbook case that is really going to impact the meta. That's why I think this set is going to be very, very, very meta heavy in how it's going to be impacted from a collector's perspective, though. Not gonna lie, I'm not really. There's nothing in there as a collector that's making me bat my eyes, except for the SPs. That Perona SP, my heart, my waifu's Perona. That's my waifu character. So the Perona SP I think looks really, really nice. Also, I think all the SPs in OP14 look really, really nice, really crisp. Mihawk manga, I'm very curious to see how that is going to do.
That one has aura.
Mihawk does, he's just one of those characters that constantly radiates max aura.
Yeah.
But the thing that's interesting is, what is the price going to look like on that Mihawk manga? I'm very interested to see. Mihawk's one of those characters who, he's had some times to shine, and when he shine, looking like, in the words of Rihanna, shining bright like a diamond. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the Zoro Mihawk fight, classic, a staple. Anytime Mihawk and Zoro are together on screen, when they're in Thriller Bark, or not in Thriller Bark, but you know what I'm talking about, in Mihawk's castle. So many great scenes there.
Yeah.
But he's not really had anything fairly recently where it's like super stand out. So I'm curious to see, maybe there's a cult following for Mihawk. I'm guessing there probably is, but I'm definitely curious to see how that manga price is going to be looking like, because that's probably one of the most outlandish characters I feel like One Piece has done. For sure, when it comes to a manga character.
So EBO4, the half of EBO4 that will be in this OP14 set, we have no idea what those cards are yet. So we're working with the information that we have right now. And what I can tell you is, first of all, I actually really like the Mihawk manga. I don't know if this is coming from my Zoro bias at all. I have no idea. I just think that card, the manga itself, just looks dope as shit. Like, I actually really do like the manga. So I wouldn't be surprised if that thing goes, but, we'll see. Mihawk isn't the biggest character, but he is one of the strongest characters in the entire series. He is literally the greatest swordsman, and Zoro will have to beat him at some point. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, no, I really like OP14. I like the manga. I don't think it's anything crazy. I'll be honest. I don't think it's anything crazy. What I will say is this is definitely really, really good leaders again. So
Yeah.
I think for OP13, they wanted to establish a new line for what the leaders, how powerful the leaders will be. So they power crept the crap out of everything, and now I think we have established our new baseline for what a leader should look like from a power level. So the leaders in the set are diabolical once again. So Boa Hancock and Doflamingo are the standout ones. I think those two leaders are going to be the best leaders. I think they're even going to be better than Ace and Emu. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Another meta set with new meta leaders. It has Boa Hancock, which is pretty cool. I like the Altar leader, but it is an Altar leader at the end of the day, and Altar leaders aren't super enticing for me personally to collect. So OP14, I'm not like really looking forward to it too much, just from the collector standpoint. From the playing standpoint, I'm really looking forward to it, but from the collector standpoint, But we do not know what EBO4 looks like. So I have no idea if EBO4 is just going to come in and punch it in the face and just provide some of the craziest cards of all time. So we have no idea. Usually the extra booster sets have some flavor, have some sauce. The first one was the Memorial Collection with Chopper, and then the second one was pretty cool, the 25th anniversary. So and the third one, we already know the third one, which is the Gunnar one. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what cards they add. They usually add some flavor to that one, so we'll see.
Real quick before you jump ahead, let's do a really early prediction here. Two and a half month early prediction. Where do you see that set ending up price low, price high for box? And then what do you think the Mihawk manga is going to end up? Low and high.
I like way too early predictions. Okay, we can do I would say on release. I mean, I don't see this cracking 130, just point blank. I just don't see it. I think it's going to be like another OP12. So I think it'll probably be like maybe 120 on launch. Then it'll probably go down to about 110. A couple months later, it'll probably be like 100, and then it might go up from there. That's probably what I'm thinking at that point. But it depends. It really depends on the EBO3 stuff, or not EBO4 stuff for me. If the EBO4 stuff is fire, then I'll probably change my answer. But if the EBO4 stuff is lackluster or really doesn't add too much to it, then I would say starts probably at 120, 125, goes down to about 100, and then maybe creeps up from there. That's probably what I'd say. What do you think?
I completely agree with you. I would mostly compare this set to OP12.
Yeah.
OP12 pricing still has me flabbergasted that it got that low. In my beginner's guide prediction video, I said lowest I thought it could get to was like 105 a box, and it obviously surpassed that pretty heavily. So I would imagine, even if the EBO4 cards are pretty good, I can't imagine there being any set rarity stuff in there that's going to be thrown in that is going to increase that pricing. So I imagine the same trajectory. I do think this is a very, very meta-heavy set. So again, like you mentioned, I'd say it'd probably be right around 130 a box tops around release time, and then it's going to drop down probably $100 a box. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff available. Again, players are going to need this to be able to play the game, given the impact that those leaders are going to have, as well as those supporting cards in the present meta. So very, very important. For the Mihawk card, though, I think it's going to take a similar trajectory towards the Bonnie manga, maybe a little bit higher. And I only say that because Mihawk, again, he's been around forever. Bonnie, kind of a newer character. I think he's got a pretty big cult following. I do. There's some people at our local card shop already gassing up the Mihawk manga. So I would say
it's playable too.
I think high. I mean, I wouldn't say it's going to be near Sanji. Sanji's 1,200, 1,300. So I wouldn't say maybe pre-release around there, but I think it's going to settle right around 6-7.
Yeah.
600-700.
Okay, no, I actually agree with that. I would say Mihawk 600-700. I could definitely see that. I don't think it goes below. Definitely doesn't go below 400. Below 500, maybe it cracks it for like a week or so. But no, I think Mihawk is. Dude, the card is also just so sick.
It radiates a lot of aura.
It's just a really sick card. It's a playable card. I think it's just really cool. First Mihawk manga. People like Mihawk. I think Mihawk's really, really cool. So yeah, I would say in between like 500 to 700, but 500 would be like, that would be low. Okay. So we talked about what's coming next, which is OP14 and EBO4. Now we're talking about what comes after that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is in February, which is EBO3. And this set is going to be unbelievable. There's only been a couple cards in recent memory that have released and then gone up nonstop, literally nonstop. And the first card I ever saw nonstop go up was the OP09 Nami SP. I remember it came out, and this was before the craze or anything. It was still a booming moment. Like OP09 was very, very, very booming, but nothing like it is right now. And it came out, and it was at like 120, 130, and I literally bought it from someone at that price. I remember thinking, like, I might be buying the top here, who knows, but whatever, I just really want the card. And then it just kept going up, and then it just kept going up, and then it hit 200, and then it hit 250, and then it went back down to 200, and then it went back to 300. And now it's like $450 or $500 or something, whatever the price is. It's the only card that I've ever seen actually go up after release, and there's a point I'm trying to make. And I think it's just the waifus.
That waifu tax.
I think it's the waifu tax is very heavy.
Plus the pose, I mean.
Yeah. And why I'm bringing this up is because the SPs in this set might be the best SPs
diabolical.
ever. Might be the best SPs. They're really good. I won't say best ever, but they're definitely up there. And I also bring this up because I think the Bow SP will be the same exact thing. I think that thing will come out, unless it like comes out at like 400. Like, it completely depends on what it actually comes out at. But that Boa SP, and I'll put it on the screen. That Boa SP might just go up nonstop. It might actually. I actually think the Boa SP might be worth more than the manga. I'll be honest.
Yep.
So I think that Boa SP might have that same trajectory. There are some really crazy cards in that set.
Oh yeah.
So I think that set, oh my gosh, that set might be $200 on release. We'll see. That might be a little bit of a hot take. That might be a little bit too extreme. But just knowing how the fandom is, knowing what I know and how they've reacted to these cards in the past, this is like an entire set of that kind of card. So I would say whatever you can get for EBO3, I think that set's going to be unbelievable. Literally unbelievable. We'll see. But Nick, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that Boa SP takes my breath away. I mean, what is there to say about that card that cannot already be surmised from just looking at it? I do believe there is a waifu tax in One Piece, and I actually think it's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
When you look at the releases, that there is indeed a waifu tax for some more risque poses of popular characters that people, fanboy over. So, I mean, Bandai is literally saying salute the troops with that one. They're giving it straight up Gooner set, EBO3. They're giving the people what they want, a straight Gooner set. And the thing about this one, too, is that EBs have consistently underprinted.
Yeah.
Consistently.
Yeah, that's my worry with
the
this one.
question is this going to be the one where Bandai turns the tables, tries to actually print this set to demand because of how popular? Like, Bandai is blatantly telling you, like, this is a collector set. So, like, OP14 / EBO4 is just so obviously a meta-defining set. And then you have EBO3, which is just a collector's dream. You have really popular characters, all the most popular female characters in the series, doing some risque poses with some super cool art. It is a collector's paradise. If you include the fact that it's not printed enough, this is just going to go to the moon, for real. I highly recommend you get as much as you can of this set. Yeah. Throw it in the closet for a rainy day and watch it go up over time. Again, Bandai has consistently underprinted the EB sets. Given the fact that this set is going into the worldwide release, so Bandai's already trying to play some catch-up, I don't know if they're going to have it in them to be able to print to demand by any means. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you what price you should buy it at, because I think any price, so long as you have a box in your closet, you're going to look back in a year, 2 years from now, and probably be pretty happy with your purchase regardless. But what I will say is definitely want to get some boxes in your closet for sure, as well as try to get a copy of every SP. I think sequentially grading these SPs, which I've been doing consistently since OP11, I think for this set in particular is going to be very, very big, and I think it's going to have a pretty nice premium depending on what those case hit rates are looking like for sure. The Uta manga, I'm a little
I just don't
underwhelmed.
care. I just
I'm
don't
a little
care.
underwhelmed, and the reason I'm underwhelmed is I just think there are better characters that I think a Nico Robin manga is so
for sure.
justified right
For
now.
sure.
So justified, and it's almost like I see what Bandai is doing, and they're saving the Straw Hats for PRB. It looks like at this point, right? Like you had the last Straw Hat we had before Sanji was Nami, which came in PRB 01. Then you had Sanji PRB 02. And it's just like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, this is such a perfect set to have a Robin manga. Instead, they give it to Uta, which, again, I get it. But at the same time, when you think about it, Uta is a movie character.
Yeah.
She's a movie character. I think, Dom and I disagree on this, so Dom, you can give your take on this one. But I like Film Red. Dom doesn't really like Film Red. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend you see it. There's some crazy sequencing with Shanks in there where he does finally show off how strong he is a little bit, which is sick. But it's like, apart from that, man, Uta has this cult following. Like, just he really, really has a very big cult following from the movie. And I get it, but it's like Nico Robin, a staple since Alabasta.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I think maybe they just think the SPs and the other cards will just carry the set. Like, it's not like if they put a Nico Robin manga, like, people are going to buy it more, in my opinion. So, like, people are going to buy it. Maybe that's what their thought process is. Like, if people are going to buy it anyway, might as well do a manga that maybe people don't care too much about. They're going to buy it anyway, and we can use the first Nico Robin manga to hype up another set. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're thinking, but it definitely, I just don't care. I just don't care about the Uta manga. I really don't. It might be bottom 3. It might be bottom 3 for me. But, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm interested to see how the Uta manga will do, but I can see that being like a $400 manga for sure.
I think it's all going to depend on the print run for sure. I actually could see the Uta manga being much more expensive than 400, maybe even double it, if it's an EBO3 print level of run. In that there's an EB print, as in it just doesn't print a lot. I think EBO3 is much better than EBO1, much better than EBO2, and it's ironic because the EBs are typically have some pretty meta-heavy cards in there, which is why there's retained value. But for this one, it's just a straight collector's dream. So I think it's going to be interesting seeing that transition and comparison between a collector set in EB versus a player set in EB.
There are some good cards, to be fair, like the VV leader that comes in here. So this set does come with one leader, and it's a VV. That leader is pretty good. It is pretty good, and then they have some support for Nami, and probably Bo, actually, I'm pretty sure. So I think there are some meta cards, but for the most part, yeah, just on collectability on this one. Anyways, EBO3, I think a lot of this is going to depend, and Nick's already said it, a lot of this is going to depend on the print run. Historically, they have not printed EB sets nearly enough, but this is also a set that can make millions for Bandai. So
give us the milk carton, Bandai. Give us the milk carton now. Put it in the bag.
So is Bandai going to leave money on the table? I mean, we'll see. They're trying to get up to the worldwide release. They're also probably wanting to reprint OP13. We're gonna find out. But if it's the print run that we've seen for EBO2 and EBO1, get every freaking box that you possibly can, because that's just literally, it's gonna come out and then it's gonna go up nonstop. They've never reprinted EB sets, but if they do reprint this set, which I really hope they do, that'll be good. That'll be good, because then it'll probably be at like 160 to 190 to 200, along that range. If we don't get a reprint, this is hitting astronomical prices pretty quick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we talked about what comes in January, which is OP14 and EBO4. We talked about what comes out in February, which is EBO3. Now, OP15. Now, we don't know anything about this besides a couple of things, and this is coming in April, and this is when we're hitting that worldwide release. First thing is this is containing the second half of EBO4, so it's going to be OP15 combined with EBO4, and then it's going to be themed on Sky Island. So that's going to be interesting. So it's going to be maybe Enel support, some Sky Island stuff. I believe there's some other ones like East Blue. East Blue is going to be in here as well. This set is going to bring back a box topper as well. So that's going to be interesting. But that's all we know. That's all we know about OP15 so far. Not much. I can't really say anything, to be honest. The theme doesn't really excite me too much. We'll see. But there could be some cool... Sky Island has some pretty interesting lore around it that is pretty important to the story that nobody really knew about until like now. So maybe they could lean into that a bit, depending on where the manga gets or the anime gets. I'm not too sure. Maybe that's what they're leaning into. But we'll see. Right now, it doesn't get the jimmies rustled too much, to be honest. But like I said, we will definitely see. I'm interested in that box topper though. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited for that. And a lot of it will also depend on EBO4 and what that looks like again. We're getting half of it in January, half of it in April. What does that look like? What do those cards look like? So. Yeah.
A no manga?
Could be a no manga.
A no manga?
Could be.
I'm not gonna lie. I think you could do some pretty crazy art with a no as a manga. Do I think Enel deserves a manga? Absolutely not. But I think that'd be pretty interesting. You know, maybe they'll give us a wiper manga. Maybe. Why
be
not?
The first $100 manga, bro.
Have him just face down, rocket launcher on his back, dude.
Yeah. But that's all we know about OP15. I way too early to give any prediction on anything at all. So just giving you what we know. Just giving you what we know. So that's what we know leading up to that worldwide release from January, February to April. That's what we're looking at. Now that we're done with the road ahead, any comments before we move on?
I do actually have a question to ask you. I think it's going to be really important. And we may want to harp on this more in a later video, but just initial thoughts on this question. How do you think worldwide releases are going to impact collecting?
Dude, collecting might... collecting, I don't think will be too affected.
I have a hot take.
I would love to hear a take. I think it's okay. So the meta part of things is what kind of freaks me out a bit because historically, people in North America just kind of copy Japan because Japan gets the set 2 to 3 months before everyone else. They kind of figure out the meta, and we can just look at what they figured out and then do it ourselves. And we don't really have to think about things. So we, especially from like a collecting side of things or finance side of things, you can look at it and be like, oh, this card is going to be meta. This card's going to be meta. This card's going to be meta. I don't want to buy this, or I'm going to sell this on release or something like that. Now it's just like. You're on the same playing field as everyone. You don't really have as much information as you used to have. I think you can still find out by just looking at the card reveals and like figuring it out and being in tune with the community. But it's gonna be interesting to see how that affects things, to be honest. But in terms of collectability, I don't know if it affected too much. What are you thinking?
My hot take is, I think the world catching up with Japan is going to cripple Japanese collecting. Cripple. I think it's going to greatly impact the Japanese market when it comes to selling product. Anybody who's been on TikTok knows there are so many people who sell One Piece, and the primary seller of their set is Japanese product. If you have a worldwide release, that negates the need to ever want to open Japanese product. Coming from someone who's opened up way too much Japanese, the only reason why I do it is because I get bored of the old English sets. If the English sets are constantly copied to Japan, I have no reason ever to open up Japanese product again unless the printing for English is just astronomically bad and they're not able to keep boxes in stores. So if Bandai is able to actually print to the demands of the people, I think Japanese collecting in general and Japanese purchasing Japanese products is going to greatly diminish at levels we've never seen in any other trading card game. Because Pokemon has always had that gap where Japan's ahead.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're always turning product around the world for Japanese product because everyone wants to open the newest set, the latest set. If One Piece negates that, I promise you, I will never buy a pack of Japanese again, ever.
Yeah, because usually, that makes a lot of sense actually. Because usually people are excited for a set and they get to open it a couple months early. It's just in Japan or in Japanese. It's a good point. There's like no reason. Yeah, like actually, no reason.
I think it's gonna. The only thing that it can give you a benefit of is getting a cheaper box, but the box pricing, when you look at the hits in there, is is like double to triple the hit price unless you get like a manga.
I think I mean, there are people, I guess, who really only go towards the Japanese stuff just because it's cheaper and has the same art. So it'll be good for them, at least.
No, for sure.
Yeah, it'll be cheaper
but I think
for them.
a majority, because a majority of people are in my ring, where they only open up Japanese products because they want to open up the newest set and they're tired of opening up the sets they've already done for the past 2 years.
You're definitely right.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what that looks like, and I'm actually really fascinated to see how that impacts the TikTok marketplace with the amount of streamers who primarily only sell Japanese products. I'm curious to see what their models
might cripple the streamers, man, because it's really like
that's the margin.
Like we did the stream for One Piece, and it was excruciatingly difficult to even to do that for One Piece. It was very, very hard to have any sorts of margins on One Piece at all. It's tough. It's very tough. So if nobody wants Japanese products anymore, and streamers have to, everyone wants English stuff, and streamers have to get English stuff, that actually English stuff might just go to the moon at that point, because everyone needs to carry English at that point. Rip and Ship has to charge higher prices.
What's the demand look like? Exactly. Yeah. I think this is a really important thing that we're going to see, because I think it's all going to come down to what Bandai does in their manufacturing warehouses, how much product they can produce and deliver, because if they can't do much, we're going to see strains possibly that we've never seen before. And the only reason why I say that is because if they do a worldwide release, that means the whole world's getting these sets. Mm-hmm. So all the English-speaking countries are getting the English sets simultaneously. All that product's going to flood. What's that going to look like for the market? Are the card prices just going to immediately tank, and then as that dries up, they're just going to go to the straight moon because no one has the access to this product that they need?
Is there any other card game that does worldwide?
I only know Pokemon, and Pokemon has never done it. I can't say it. Write in the comments, guys. First of all, let us know your thoughts in the comments for sure. But number two, is there another card game that has a worldwide release like what Bandai is trying to do with One Piece? I don't know.
Because you're right. Like, from a business perspective, you're not selling Japanese stuff in United or North America anymore. You're like, at least you're heavily affecting how much Japanese stuff you sell in the States. For sure, without a doubt. I think you're right. 90% of people are probably in your camp where they're just like, all right, I'm just not going to open this. You know, I'm just going to get the English counterpart because that's the language that I speak. That's the language that I collect. So, I mean, it'll be really interesting. I wonder if Bandai is going to regret it. I have no idea.
I don't know, because you have to remember, this is a really important thing. Bandai, they're not responsible for the Japanese product getting here. Mm-hmm. It's all of the consumers who are importing it from Japan through their connections in Japan that are bringing the product over in masses.
So this is affecting the stores in Japan.
Exactly. This is going to impact them the most, for sure. Them and the rip and shippers in the States, or people who primarily sell Japanese products in the United States or other English-speaking countries.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. I am super excited to see how that goes.
I'm very curious to see what happens.
That's going to be interesting. I think it's going to nuke the market, like you said, bro. Holy moly, that's going to be pretty bad, actually. Especially, I feel bad for the stores in Japan who actually, they make a killing off of sending stuff to rip and shippers out in North America. So, anyways, all right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, like Nick said, let us know in the comments what you guys think is going to happen. Last thing, before we get to some notable market moves, is the promos. The promos that, there's like a promo pack that come when you go into a tournament. And every time you participate in a tournament, you get a promo pack, and it comes with these cards. There's some cards in there, Nick. I know you want to talk about it a little bit. So, what do you think about those promo cards and the delay, and how do you think that's going to affect things?
Yes. That's really important. The Roger promo just got announced. It was speculated it was supposed to come out later this year. Dom's obviously going to put up the promo card here. It's been out in Japan for a while now, and everyone in the East is utilizing this Roger promo in their deck. It's very, very strong with Roger. I'm not going to go into the nuances of why that is, but it just got confirmed a couple weeks ago that Roger promo isn't going to be hitting the States until 2026. I think it's February, something like January 2026. So the only reason why I say this is because if you're sitting on Roger cards, so the Roger Alt-Art Leader, even that Silver Israeli Alt-Art, cards that Roger is primarily running in his deck, I think it is a really, really good time to hold on to those. Wait until that promo card gets a full English release, comes into cycle. I think Roger's going to be a very strong deck once he gets that promo card added. Right now, he's kind of in the middle there. I don't think nearly as strong as the Triangle Meta, Emu, Ace, Zoro, but I think he can be viable with that promo card. So if you are sitting on any of those purple cards that are in Roger's deck as an alt-art or any of the red cards, feel free. I think you want to hold on to those. Wait until that promo comes out. It's going to be interesting to see what the market is going to look like for those alt-arts that are in his deck come February, but I think there's a good possibility they're probably going to go up once Roger gets the support he needs to become a more viable deck in the meta.
You just need that. You need that promo for Roger. I've been running Roger at locals for a minute now, and I'm getting cooked. I'm getting cooked. So, yeah, definitely need that promo. I'm looking forward to it myself. All right, guys, we're moving on to notable market moves here. There's some interesting ones. So, last week we talked about the Gorosei God Pack from OP13. I think I remember us saying that it was selling for like $35 to $4,000.
Yeah, we thought it would bottom 25. We thought 25 would be...
Yeah.
And we were wrong.
Coincidentally, last sales are about like 2,100. Well, let's just average it out to 2,100. So the God Pack is now selling for 2,100 a week later. That's like a slash of like 40 to 50%, which is pretty crazy. And that's even before Wave 2. So I was thinking these cards, personally, I'm very high on these cards. So I did not think we would see these prices until at least Wave 2. And honestly, now I'm thinking maybe this goes down even more to maybe like 1,500 to like for the God Pack. Honestly, I'm not sure at this point. But I think maybe I was a little bit too high on it. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I was definitely a little bit too high on it. It might go down to 1,500 just because Wave 2 hasn't even hit the market yet. Now, Wave 2 is going to be lower than Wave 1, but still, we are having more product hit the market, which means more God Packs. And Emu, honestly, like Emu's best deck in format right now, but when OP14 comes out, it's not even best deck in format anymore. From what I see now, it's very good. It's still like top 3, top 5 at least, but it's not even best deck in format anymore. So the demand from the players might not even be as strong. So, it might be $300 a card for the $1,500 God Pack. It could even go lower. I don't know. I don't see this going under like 1,000. I'll say that. Like, if it ever gets to like 1,000 or like 13, 15, like that's where I'm pulling the trigger hard. But yeah, what do you think about the God Pack?
I think the market is speaking. I think the market is speaking for sure. As Dom mentioned, Wave 2 hasn't even come yet, but you're seeing that God Pack diminish in value, and the reason why is because more and more God Packs are being hit. Also on top, last week we discussed that a lot of players have spoken out saying they want to run a God Pack specialty inside of their Emu deck. So that means it's 4 sets of God Packs. I saw someone on X with a completed set. They had a completed God Pack set inside of their Emu deck. This is something that's actually happening. But on the flip side of that, I also think a lot of people are taking a step back and saying, whoa there, pump the brakes. Emu as a deck does have some flaws. There aren't many, but especially when you're looking to the future at the OP14 decks, this is a deck that does have some
weaknesses, yeah.
There are some blatant weaknesses that can be taken advantage of by certain cards in certain decks. So I think a lot of people are pumping the brakes. Again, I think it's a mixture of more of these cards coming to cycle because more people are opening them up. On top of the fact that, they rather get their cash now instead of holding on to these cards. What I'm interested in seeing is what this ends up looking like in the future. In 2 to 3 years from now, what is the Gorosei God Pack going to look like? I don't know. Because at the end of the day, it is just 5 alt-arts.
Mm-hmm. I did see them in person. So our local card shop had the God Pack, and it's sick. I'll be honest, it's a sick ass card. All of them are so freaking cool. But at this point, I do think that you're going to find a better time to buy them. In the future, like I said, I still think these are going to be grails. I like these a lot. I think these will be grails, especially if you get these sequentially graded. Now, these are sick. I think this makes a whole lot of sense. I think these are really cool, and you haven't even seen these characters too much in the anime yet.
That final war arc.
Yeah, it's gonna be
crazy.
It's gonna be crazy. So we'll see how it goes. But I will say I think it goes a little bit lower. Definitely, I don't think this is the bottom. Unfortunately, fortunate because I do want to get them. I really do want to get them. So if they get closer to that $1,500 mark, I definitely will pull the trigger on them myself. So if you guys see it and you guys want those cards, like I said, I'm looking at the $1,500 mark to maybe grab mine. All right. Next up on the list of notable market moves is Blue Bottom OPO1. $3,800 last sale on eBay.
As predicted.
Holy shit.
As predicted. Is there a single person here that's surprised? Let's be honest.
Nobody's surprised at the price, but it's just happening so fast. Like, is this just gonna keep mooning at this point? Because we were pretty stagnant at 3K for like maybe two months, maybe. And this was when the collectors were hitting the market, and I was a little confused myself because everyone was getting the mangas and all that stuff, and you could tell the collectors were here, but the Blue Bottom was sitting at 3K. So I don't know if it's rotating to the Blue Bottom now or what's going on. I don't know what made this move so fast right now because we were just at 3K. Now we're at 3,800. What inspired that move? I have no clue. It just happened like over a couple nights, and I mean the supply on this is nothing. Literally nothing.
Good luck. So
I guess it's just gonna keep going up nonstop. I mean this is a $10,000 box at some point.
I think soon. Nick hot take of the second Nick hot take of the video.
Prediction.
I think that if One Piece continues to grow the way it does, you're going to see that Blue Bottom be over $10,000 probably the next 2 years. That's the Nick hot take.
2 years? Okay.
Next 2 years.
Okay.
I think there's actually a possibility that it can even go past 5K by the end of this year.
By the end of this year?
Woo! At the end of the day, folks, this is fundamental supply and demand.
Yeah, that's true.
There is no supply of this stuff.
Yeah.
Very high demand that's just constantly increasing day by day, week by week. I mean, I've been watching the One Piece financial subreddit. Normally, I don't pay attention to it. Mm-hmm. I have been looking at it, though, the last week or so. Mm-hmm. And it is, like, there is a lot of interaction, a lot of people asking questions, a lot of people talking about how they're making their first purchases for some boxes to throw inside the closet. I think this is growing exponentially, even more than we thought it was a month ago or so. And I think that for something that is the grail, and it is just such a common sense grail. If Pokemon taught us anything, a base set box is going to go up over time. That's it. Any sealed product in Pokemon is going to go up over time. And the other thing about this, too, is, the collector bases for One Piece, these are people who've been through it before. They've been collecting for a while. They got into One Piece. They got these boxes early because they believed in the card game, or at least they thought to themselves, hey, if I'm sitting on a case of this in 5 years from now, what are the odds it goes up? Probably pretty high. I don't know how much it's going to go up, but it's going to go up. So I think there's a lot of people sitting on a bunch of cases, and the only time you're going to see more product come into the market at this point is people liquidating their position. And that's going to be scarce in itself. So
I could see 5K. I could see 5K before the end of the year. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see a big bump for Christmas. Imagine getting a Blue Bottom for Christmas, man. Under the Christmas tree, man.
Might be giving them something else, man.
I might suck the person off.
I might be giving that person something else, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. They giving me a Blue Bottom. Hello.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously we think the Blue Bottom is just talking to the moon.
Better wear the mistletoe on my head, my forehead, man.
All right, next thing on the list of notable market moves is the Dodgers Luffy. So when we were talking about this card a couple weeks ago, when the World Series was actually happening, it reached like 2,400. There was a lot of volatility with this card. It went down when the Dodgers were losing, then it went back up, and then it started mooning after the Dodgers won. And now we know that people were just using that FOMO as an opportunity to take advantage of people's FOMO and take advantage of the market speculation. Oh, yeah. And now we're sitting at $1,600 last sale, which means it fell. How much is that? That's probably like 30%.
Yep.
30 to 40% fall in price. PSA 10 in the last week or two. which is a pretty dramatic fall, to be completely honest. Do you think this is the bottom, Nick?
In the words of Eminem, snap back to reality. Whoa, there goes gravity. I predicted this, bro. I literally said in the episode with the Dodgers, I said that I thought this card was going to be very volatile, more than ever, over the next 6 months. I said that if you can find it around this price, I would buy it. I still wholeheartedly believe that. I have always said I think this card is going to be over $5,000 at some point very soon. I even think it's going to be an over $10,000 card, so long as the TCG continues to grow, continues to do what they're doing, Bandai doesn't absolutely botch it, aka Dragon Ball. I think there's a lot of potential in this card. Absolutely, absolutely. Again, I think a lot of people gave into their FOMO who purchased the card for $2,400. They saw that Dodgers win. They're probably a diehard Dodgers fan. They opened up the wallet, grabbed its credit card, maybe had one or too many Modelos before they did it, and then ended up making a purchase that they... I don't think you're going to regret. I think you're regretting it right now for sure. You're probably thinking to yourself like, damn, I bought on eBay for $2,400 with tax, with shipping, with fees. You're looking at like $2,800 that they paid for that card.
You hold it, you'll be fine.
If that was you won't be wipe those tears away. And in about 2 years from now, you're going to be crying tears of joy from that card for sure. I think it's going to continue on this volatile roller coaster of it's going to be 16, 18, 2K, 16, 18, 2K, 22. And then eventually, as the supply starts drying up, that's when you're going to see that consistent growth. The problem with this card, and someone in the comments actually said this. They said that they thought the best time to buy the Dodgers Luffy was right now. And they said that the reason for that was because this is the most supply that will be out there. Yeah. And I agree with them. Mm-hmm. This is the most supply you're going to see. I didn't agree with them buying at that price for $2,200 because I know that it's going to be a volatile card. It's going to go down because more people are going to look to liquidate their position because they're just trying to get out of it. So, with that being said, it's a matter of when, not if on this card, once you actually start getting that product drying up, those Dodger Luffys out there that are so sealed, those ones that are PSA, the ones that are on the marketplace, once they start disappearing because more and more people are buying them. Again, this is a worldwide card. Yeah. This card has worldwide popularity because of the fandom around the Dodgers, the fandom around One Piece. Once this card disperses to the world as it's currently doing now, that's when you're going to see it start going up, when you cannot find this card on the marketplace.
So do you think they're going to have a better opportunity to buy this, or do you think they should pull the trigger right now? What are your thoughts?
I think now is a great opportunity. If you have the spare money to do so, I mean, shit, I'm thinking about buying another Dodgers Luffy at this point. I ain't going to lie to you. Actually, funny you mentioned that. I'm sitting on two of them right now. I was considering selling one of them, and then the drop happened. I immediately thought, nope, not selling one of them. My thought process was I have a dupe of the Silver Luffy and a dupe of the Dodgers Luffy. I was going to get rid of those and get the Gold Luffy, the anniversary card, which is going crazy right now as well. But yeah, the Dodgers Luffy, it's going to be a volatile card. I would way rather hold on to it for 2 to 3 years and let it get to that level I've mentioned of it just reaching really, really strained supply and then try to move it at that point than to do it right now. But if you're looking to purchase it, it's going to be hard to beat this price point. Even if you do, you're at most going to beat it by maybe $200-$300. I don't see this ever dropping back down beneath that $1,200 mark that it was sitting at for a while. Yeah. But I think regardless, guys, if you want to grab the card, it is a grail at the end of the day. Obviously, don't purchase something on a credit card and you don't have the liquidity. Make sure, this is a you question. Do you have the liquidity to do it? Do you feel comfortable in being able to make a pretty large purchase like that? If you do, then I think you're getting it for a pretty fair price right now.
And this is just more proof to me that just never FOMO. Ever. Like the God Pack has dropped like 50 to 60%. Dodgers Luffy was incredibly hyped when the World Series was going on, and it literally doubled in price while the Dodgers were in the playoffs. It's not worth it at the end of the day, because when the fat lady sings, it's gonna come back to reality. Everything does, and there might be that one in like 100 cards, like the Nami from OP09, that just nonstop goes up, and you might have missed out, or you might have to overpay a little bit for something. But more often than not, you are going to thank yourself that you didn't go into FOMO mode than you just buy everything because of FOMO. You might miss out on one or two things, but it's better because you'll get a better price on the rest of like the 98 things, So just more proof. Don't FOMO into things. I think it's a great price to grab it at this point. I mean, it's down 40%. Something falls 40%, you should be thinking, oh, that's a great price to buy because people are fearful right now, instead of everyone's FOMOing over this card. I got to get this card. I got to get this card, So, yeah, Dodgers Luffy, I think it's a great buy right now.
And then real quick to add on top of that, when we're talking about FOMO, this is kind of just a tool that I've learned over time that's really helped me out because I had a huge tendency of giving into FOMO, and that is to have someone with you who can hold you accountable to not giving in to your FOMO. Dom is that for me. Pretty much every purchase I make for One Piece now, I tell Dom, hey, what do you think about this? And he says, I think you're giving into FOMO. I think this is too overpriced. It gives me his opinion, and then I make my educated guess based off of that. But if you're in my position, I highly recommend you find someone with like minds, with like knowledge, who can hold you accountable to not give into your emotional, moment and make that purchase. Because there's no worse feeling than giving into FOMO and then looking a week down the road and being like, damn, I shouldn't have given into FOMO. My story about that, I'll never forget. When 151 started to boom around a year ago, it just started booming out of nowhere, like earlier this year. And I remember I didn't have a set of the Charizard, Blastoise, and the Venusaur, and I really, really want to get that for my collection. So I ended up driving like an hour and a half to meet up with this dude who sold it to me at like skyrocket prices, and my logic was, it will go up in the next week, man. I'm going to make money on it. And then what happened? 48 hours. Tanked. Luckily, it ended up going back up over time. Again, that's the way this works, right? Like, your price you're purchasing at today is likely going to be cheaper than what it is in 2 years from now, but is it going to be cheaper than tomorrow or next week? Maybe not. That's volatility. But again, find someone with a like mind, hold yourself accountable, and at the end of the day, if you really struggle, you have no one, DM us, man. Go ahead and write a comment. The buds will hold you accountable. I promise you we will. We will not let you give into that phone.
We'll give you an honest answer.
We'll give you an honest opinion.
We would. We definitely would. Don't FOMO, guys. Do not FOMO. This is just more proof, more than ever. All right, after the Dodgers Luffy, OPO 9, $232 a box. Now this is interesting because OPO 5 was reprinted for a very long time. Like it was at the Bandai stores for a very long time. I think it'll be the same with OPO 9. OPO 5 sitting at $368 a box right now. OPO 9, $232 a box. I think it probably goes up more from here. I don't think it goes above like 300 or anything. I think it probably goes up a little bit more. But then I think there's also going to be some reprints of this from like Bandai stores, for example, or like One Piece Day or whatever other One Piece conventions there are. I know there's something in like February or something.
Yeah, One Piece Fest Bandai Card Fest is going to be in Vegas.
Yeah. So they even might be reprinting OPO 5 for those. So they always have these sets at these big conventions and stuff. So I think OPO 9 might get more reprints for these locations, but never know how much that's going to be. But I do think we are at a moment for OPO 9 where it might just keep going up, to be honest. It might just keep mooning from here. And it might hit that like $290, $300 a box. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit that before Christmas. We'll see. But another one of those things where I think it's a good price to get OPO 9 personally. $232 a box. I mean, you look at the other anniversary, OPO 5, $368. I mean, you're off by like $130, and I think it's not on the same tier in my head, but I still think it's one of the best sets ever printed of all time. So I still think it's a good buy. It might get out of your range here soon, is all I'm saying. Just take a look. Don't FOMO into it, but just take a look. Nick, what do you think about OPO 9?
I think it's time we have just an honest conversation. Let's just take a step back. Let's be honest here, guys. Everyone, let's be honest. OPO 9 is a much better set to open than OPO 5. It just is. There's no question. There's no question. And I don't even think it's close.
Yeah.
OPO 9 is like, it is my addiction of a set. Like, especially with how trackable cases are, I can't just open one. Every time I buy OPO 9, it's never one box. I tell myself one box, another box. 2 box, another box. OPO 5, every time I opened up OPO 5, I felt guilty. I felt stupid. I felt like I was making mistakes. Never have I ever felt that way with OPO 9, and I think people are going to reflect that. I think the market's reflecting that. I think it's just a way more popular set to open. I've always viewed OPO 5 as being, that is going in the closet. I'm never touching that, ever. Dom and I said there's one situation, which we're not going to discuss here, where that case is getting open to OPO 5 in our closet, but Yeah, OPO9, it's a guilty pleasure set. I think a lot of people reflect that. They had that sensation. It's a very, very fun set to open. And I think it's going to continue to be that way, which is why you're seeing that price increase happening so often. That mixed with the fact that, of course, more collectors are inside of the space now. I think OPO9 is going to get to OPO5 levels very quick.
Yeah,
very quick.
I don't want to give advice. This is not financial advice. But I think if you're looking to buy a case of anything, I think the first place you should be looking is OPO9 right now. I think it's going to be hard to find a better price than $232 a box for a case, especially going into the future. Like I said, we'll look back at this. Let's look back on this in like 4 weeks before Christmas, and let's see where OPO9 is. I would be shocked if it wasn't above like 250 personally, but I think it'll be much higher than that. But we'll see. We'll see. Not financial advice. Take a look. Next is OPO6.
About time.
OPO6, lowest listing on TCG Player, 196. Now this was sitting at like 140 to 150 for a pretty long time, and honestly, it just hit like 196 lowest listing like out of nowhere. So I'm not sure how sticky this price is going to be, but this is a set with a bunch of really cool SPs, and it does have the Zoro manga. It does have really cool Zoro cards. It has some really dope cards. It does have some really dope cards, and I think it's like the closest a set can be to being like amazing without having like a bunch of mangas or an anniversary set. Like I think of like anniversary sets up here, and then under that is like OP11 and OP06. Like those two are on the OP11's better just because it has the anniversary Luffy, to be honest. But those like non-anniversary sets, I think of these two as like the best of the best. So I think OP06 definitely deserves it. 196 is a little high just out of nowhere. I think it might go down to like 170 or 180, but still a pretty crazy move kind of overnight. Any thoughts on OP06, Nick?
I think it's about time. I do. Mm-hmm. I think this set had been undervalued for the entire year. Mm-hmm. This set I've probably opened up more than any other set, including OPO9. This was one of the first sets that Dom and I really got into on my birthday last year. We ended up purchasing like right around a case of OPO6. Such a fun set to open. So many cool cards in there. You have the Alt-Art SEC Zoro, which I think is one of his best cards. Mm-hmm. That card is crazy, where he's in the fight against King. It looks super, super clean. And I think the market's finally reflecting that. $190 a box, I'd been saying for months it was a matter of time with this set before it finally started reaching those levels. And again, I still hold to it. I think I rated this last week as a B tier set. This deserved to be worth more than 140, and it was at 140, 120 for the majority of this year.
Yeah.
So I think this one's going to keep on going up. Again, supply is just going to inevitably run out of these sets. Bandai cannot print this stuff forever. It's going to run out. As it runs out, people are going to want these sets. It's going to result in higher pricing. So we're seeing a natural ebb and flow here for a lot of these sets, and I think this is a normal one that should have happened a long time ago for OPO6.
Yeah. OPO6, very, very good. Very, very interesting. Very interested to see where it goes from here. We'll see. And then the last notable market move is the OPO9 Buggy manga, PSA 10.
Insane.
Bro, $3,000 is what we're seeing on eBay.
Multiple sales.
It's
multiple sales,
which is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Let this sink in, folks. The Buggy manga is the third most expensive manga in OPO9. The third most. If you remove the Roger, it is the second most expensive manga out of the Yonko. Buggy. The crazy thing about this...
why, bro. Why?
The crazy thing about this one to me is the fact that this manga was the cheapest one.
Mm-hmm, it was like $400, yeah.
I got mine for like $275, $250.
Yeah.
I got mine for... I was shocked. I was looking over my collector app and I saw the Buggy manga price and a PSA 10 and I was like, there has to be an error. Mm-hmm. Something's not right here. I checked eBay recent sales. There's not one, not two, but like 3 or 4 sales of that thing around $3,000, which is mind-boggling. If you were one of the people like myself who got super lucky at the Buggy manga for sub $400, Salute to you, my guys. We're eating up here, boys. We're eating here.
That's crazy because I honestly don't know why it's so high. Like
Dom tried to talk me out of it. He was like, dude, I would not pay $1 over $300 for that manga. Not $1.
True.
I only wanted it because I wanted to complete my set for OPO9. So I was like, I'm going to buy the Buggy manga eventually. And the fact that it is the second most expensive card of the Yonko.
It's crazy.
Shocking.
It's crazy.
Shocking.
It's actually crazy to me. That is actually a crazy price. I'm not even gonna. I don't even know. I mean, my gut says it's overvalued, but also like what? That's just the market we're in, I guess. Like all the mangas are just going crazy, but this manga is going more crazy than other mangas, which is crazy. It's crazy. It's not like Buggy is like this crazy popular character or anything like that.
Cold following, man.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the cold. Yeah, maybe people just
because
really
the thing
like
is too,
Buggy,
they're
man.
graded copies. It's not even people are running Buggy as
it's
a
not
deck.
even playable. Yeah,
they're graded copies. So this is an intentional strike. But I don't know if it's some pump and dump group or somebody with some Bitcoin money in here that wants every Buggy manga out in existence. But I promise you, that thing hits 5K, you can have mine, brother. I gladly take a gold anniversary Luffy if that thing hits 5K, man. Promise you that.
All right, guys, now we're going to get into our Q&A segment. We have 2 questions that we're going to get into, and as a reminder, leave your questions down below, and we may answer your question in the next episode. All right, coming in from Pedro, time to collect. Question, thoughts on collecting PSA 9s of the best cards, since PSA 10s are quite high in price? Great video. Thank you, Pedro. PSA 9s, I'm not like, okay, this is just a pure Dominic thing. Now, I'm sure PSA 9s, like other people would be happy with it. There's just something in my brain that won't allow me to have PSA 9s. Like I have to like, even if I have a raw card, like I need like a perfect copy. For example, there was this Winter Zoro card that I got, and it had like a little white dot on it, and I need it. I still need it, but I sold it because I had a little white dot on it. So I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I'm a little bit weird, so Nick will probably have a better answer for you. But for me, PSA 9s are definitely not for me. But if you're just looking to collect them and you don't really care about like the value just going up nonstop over time, like PSA 10s are clearly better. But PSA 9s are a good way to get your cards that you like at an affordable price slabbed up, is what I will say. But Nick, you probably have a better opinion than me on this one because I'm a little bit biased.
Pedro, first of all, great question. Thank you for sending that to us. I saw this question and I immediately perked up, took a screenshot, sent it to Domino. Like, we got to answer this one because let's be honest here, okay? PSA 9 slabs in general, when you look throughout the card games, does not have the level of collectability that a 10 does, and it's for obvious reasons. Now, we're going to hone in on One Piece here, but of course, I'm going to use some overlap that I've learned from Pokemon when it comes to collecting 9s as slabs. One Piece QC at the end of the day, man, it's just too good. It's too good, and I'm going to be honest with you, if you buy a PSA 9 slab, I'm looking to recrack it and resubmit it to possibly get a 10, because out of the 50 plus cards I've sent to PSA, I've only had one come back as a 9, and every single person I've shown that card to said, you got to crack and resubmit that. Ironically, it's at PSA right now, so stay tuned. But with that being said, let's think about this for a second. Will a 9 have the collectability, more collectability in the future than, say, a raw copy? My take on it is, I don't think so, unless you see those grade discrepancies that you do in Pokemon. And what I mean by that is, okay, in Pokemon, when you look at base set, fossil, all the early sets, all the mid-tier sets, there are PSA 1 through 10. Is One Piece ever going to really be there? And my answer, I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is because the worst quality cards you're going to see is going to come from players, and a majority of players are not playing with those super collectible cards. Don't be wrong, there are some people out there with max rarity decks who are indeed playing with those super high-end expensive cards, but for the most part, the One Piece fans out there, they either have them in a binder right now, they don't think it's gradable, it went to PSA because it got graded, or it's in a deck. Those are the only 3 options. And on top of that, the QC for One Piece is just too good. Pokemon QC is horrible. That's why there's such a premium between a 10 and a raw copy in Pokemon, because I've had Pokemon cards that come out and they look like a 7 out of the pack. Look like a 6 out of the pack.
Yeah.
One Piece, almost every single time, QC, has been a little bit more questionable since OP11, but every single time almost, you look at the card and you're like, immediate 10.
Yeah.
And that's why there's always been a small increase in price between a 10 and a raw card. Raw cards typically reflect what a 9 is. So a 9 in One Piece is usually the raw card price.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because a raw card typically, at minimum, is a 9. So
that's true. Like a PSA 9 is worse than a raw card if you think about it, because like you said, like 80 to 90% of cards that go to PSA
are
go to 10.
10 worthy. Exactly.
So if you have a 9, it's worse than usual.
Yes.
It's not like Pokemon where it's like maybe even better than usual. It's PSA 9 in One Piece is worse than usual. It's literally like you have a less than card than usual, which is that's actually a good way to think about it. Actually, that's a good point.
So in conclusion, do I think 9s are a terrible buy? No, I think in the future, eventually there is going to be that discrepancy in grading where super old cards are inevitably going to get damaged in a binder. They're going to get damaged in a deck. And if you have a 9, there will be some 5, 6, 7s, 8s, 9s out there, and of course the 10s. But in the interim right now, if you pick up a slab that's a 9, the first thing I would tell you to do and I would look at is to get that thing cracked and regraded if there's any chance at all that it is indeed regradable, because at the end of the day, you should not be paying more than raw card price for any single 9 slab out there. Mm-hmm. So you automatically should be getting that at whatever the raw card price is.
Yeah.
So again, in the future, 5-10 years down the road, of course, there will be some discrepancies. A 9 will likely have more value than those other slabs that get graded that where it comes back as an 8 or a 7. But for now, in the interim, if you're looking to pick stuff up, I'm looking to pick up raw cards and then submit them myself because most of them are going to be gradable at a 10. Or if you want to buy some 9s, look to get them cracked and regraded.
Yeah, just buy the raw card and submit it yourself. To be honest, don't buy a 9. Yeah,
because it's going to be the same price.
There's no point in buying a 9. Actually, the more we talk about this, the more I'm thinking like this makes no sense to buy a 9 in One Piece at all. For Pokemon, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
In Pokemon, there's always been over time. If you have like a Charizard base at 9, that's worth a boatload of cash.
Yeah.
Because there again is a whole rainbow out there of 1 through 10. So you having a 9 is like there is a premium for that. And also QC is just way worse than Pokemon.
Yeah. All right, last question comes from DL Valhalla 9255. Damn, did you guys even talk about the gold and silver shanks? No, we did not. We totally forgot, to be honest. So we'll talk about it now. So the gold and silver shanks, if you guys don't know, is the anniversary card that comes in OP13. There's a gold version, there's a silver version. I actually coincidentally pulled the gold version.
He pulled the gold version and the white manga Luffy, by the way, guys. Both of them in 4 boxes.
Yeah. So I was
retirement.
OP13 treated me well for sure. But yeah, that golden shanks. I guess I'll be a little bit biased. Maybe it's because I pulled it, but I do think it's better than the Blackbeard for sure. So you can look at the Blackbeard price that came in OP12 because there's an anniversary gold and silver Blackbeard as well, and I believe it's like, what is it, like 1,800 or something like that?
It was like 800, 600 bottom. I think it's been fluctuating lately.
Yeah. So I would say it's at the very least above that. The price of a gold one right now, I believe, is like $1,200 to $1,300, and the price of a silver one, I believe, is like $800 to $900. That seems fair to me, but I think it could go lower. It could be like $1,000, like $1,000 for the gold, $800 for the silver, or maybe like $1,100 for the gold, and like $850 for the silver. I think that's a fair price for me. I think the card looks unbelievable in person. So I also think just Shanks is a better character than Blackbeard, and it's a very playable card, so people will need it. But I would say I like the gold and silver shanks. I think it's at a decent point to buy. But you could also just wait for wave 2, and I think it'll go down. I don't think anyone's going to pump up this price to like 15 to 2,000. I think you can exercise some caution a little bit and just wait for the wave 2, in my opinion. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I told Dom since day one with this card, as soon as I saw it, I think I even said it in a previous Buds Watch video, that I think the Shanks is going to be right around $200 to $400 more on both tiers than the Blackbeard, and that's exactly where it's at right now. I think it could definitely drop a little bit more, maybe $200 for both of them, so $1,000 and $600. But I don't think it's going to sit there. I think, again, it's going to retain that cushion. Shanks, a much more popular character. Again, The one thing about these anniversary cards that's getting a little bit stale is that it's a regurgitation of manga arts that they've already utilized.
Yeah.
For the Luffy, I actually think that card looked super, super sick just because that is an iconic manga. Don't get me wrong, the Shanks OP09 manga is super, super cool. I own it. It's my favorite Shanks manga. A lot of people like number 1 instead, and I don't see it personally, but again, to each their own. But the art is getting a little stale. Don't get me wrong.
It's a little boring.
The card looked cool when I saw it in person. It looked super cool, but it's
just the idea.
Yeah, the idea is getting a little bit stagnant. On top of that, that Luffy anniversary card genuinely was one of the prettiest cards I've ever seen in trading card history. It's a beautiful card. It's
crazy.
Dom pulled it on stream for somebody, so I was able to see it in person. And that card,
we literally took a photo shoot with it.
Yeah, few cards have ever genuinely had my mouth like touching the ground like that one. That and the Roger, probably those are the two. And there just hasn't been an anniversary card to really get there. So
yeah, it's just a little like when the first one came out, it was really, really cool. Blackbeard happened, and you're like,
It's a weird spot to go to, you know what I mean? And that's why, look, I know we're getting to the end of the video. It's been a long one, but, just to kind of hammer the point on what I'm saying, I kind of tag team what I was saying, to add on
to Eiffel Tower,
Eiffel Tower, what I was saying about the Nico Robin manga. Why is Bandai running from the Straw Hats? I don't understand it. I don't get it. If you would have asked Nick a year ago that, if you would have told me that there was only going to be a total of 4 Straw Hat mangas by this point in the card game, but not including Luffy's 14 of them, I would say you're lying. And yet here we are, and it's, I don't know. I would like to see Bandai finally start getting these really iconic, popular characters in these prestigious card slots.
I need a Brook manga. Brook manga was
like make me care. You know what I mean? I don't know. If you love the anniversary Blackbeard, I'm sorry, I disagree. But to each their own. But
it's a cool pattern. Like I won't say it's not a cool card, and just Blackbeard as a character is like, the
thing is, it's such a great concept, and I like the addition of a higher tier chase in a manga for sure. But you have to make me care about the character. You have to make me care about it, or else I'm just...
Actually, that reminds me. Was OP13, was that the last set that'll have the anniversary?
That's what I was thinking, too. I was going to ask you in the middle of our discussion if OP14 and EBO3 had one announced.
I'm pretty sure no, but we'll see. We'll see, because I know there was... I can't remember. I know they were doing multiple. I can't remember if it was 3, because we've had 3. And I can't remember if there's 3 or 4.
Write down in the comments.
Yeah. It might be 4. We might have one more.
I thought EBO3 had one, but I can't recall who the character was or what it was. So write down in the comments.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see. I'll have to look back. But yeah, anyways, all right, guys, that is the end of Bud's Watch 3. Number 6.
3 times 2.
That is the end of Bud's Watch 6. We appreciate you guys so much for dropping comments, leaving likes. I think our last Bud's Watch was the most viewed Bud's Watch that we've had. And
we really appreciate that, guys. Yeah. We genuinely, from the bottom of our hearts, really appreciate you guys spending your time. That was an hour-long episode. So spending an hour out of your guys' lives really means the world to us. At the end of the day, we're just 2 dudes talking about something we love. And it's pretty crazy to think that people like to listen to us. So, thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, shout out to the people who listen to us while they work.
Yeah.
Get that bread, man.
That podcast, baby.
Get that bread, man.
Yep.
All right. We'll catch y'all
on the next one.
See you guys. Peace.